Lighthouse Immigrant Advocates, or LIA, or Lighthouse, or LIA, was founded in November 2015 by Sarah Jorgen Osterhout. That's me. In response to a need in Ottawa County for nonprofit immigration legal services. At the time, I was working in Grand Rapids and living in Holland. I began to notice that Grand Rapids had a lot of really great nonprofit legal services organizations, but Holland didn't have anything like that, despite a large immigrant population. Conversations with nonprofit leaders serving the immigrant community revealed that there was a strong desire and need for these services. Together with these leaders and a core group of supporters, LIA opened its doors on November 2nd, 2015. LIA offers low-cost, high-quality immigration legal services to all of West Michigan. We serve people from Grand Traverse County all the way to Berrien County. However, the majority of our clients hail from Ottawa, Allegan, and Kent counties. Our legal services focus on three principal areas: family reunification, humanitarian, and that catch-all miscellaneous category. When we talk about family reunification, we mean those immigration services that both keep families together and bring families together. Sometimes our clients are living abroad and come to the United States to live with their family, while sometimes families are already together in the United States. We're helping these families stay together by pursuing immigration status for an undocumented family member. Our humanitarian services encompass our victim advocacy program and refugee clinic. The Victim Advocacy Program is a free program for victims of violent crimes, such as domestic violence, sexual assault, or human trafficking. The Refugee Clinic, created in response to the crisis in Afghanistan, is also a free service in partnership with area resettlement agencies. Finally, within that miscellaneous category, we have our Renewal Clinic, Naturalization Clinic, and Know Your Rights services. The Renewal Clinic actually serves the entire state of Michigan, so anyone in the state can call us up for help renewing their work permit, green card, DACA, or TPS status. This is one of our flat fee programs where, regardless of income, we just charge $200 for our services, with a very generous fee waiver policy. The other great thing is this is also a remote program, so clients can access these services without ever stepping foot in our office. Through our Naturalization Clinic, we partner with area agencies to offer education in preparation for the naturalization test, along with high-quality legal services and representation. Participants who work with one of our partnered classes receive services for a flat fee of $250, again, regardless of income. Those who do not participate in a class are subject to the usual fee scale, but receive the same high-quality legal services and representation. Lastly, those without any immigration remedy have access to something we call Know Your Rights services. In addition to giving clients a primer on their rights in the United States, we also make available to them assistance with creating powers of attorney for children and finances, and we file Freedom of Information Act requests if they would like a copy of their immigration file. LIA recognizes that access to services can be difficult because of job schedules, childcare, and travel. For this reason, we offer a wide array of office hours, remote services, and a family-friendly office culture. LIA also offers educational services to the community. We're contacted often by folks and agencies in West Michigan to give presentations on immigration law and policy. If you've seen LIA before, it's likely been at an educational event where one of our experts was sharing information and insights with regard to current issues impacting our immigrant community. Finally, we're an advocacy center. We advocate in many different ways, through legal services, through education, through outreach, and through our Advocacy on Demand program. Advocacy on Demand is just a fancy way of saying, if you call us up with an advocacy issue, police are parking in your Mexican restaurant's parking lot every morning, or a discrimination complaint against the city, LIA will do its best to help you out. Now that we've reviewed LIA's history, impact, and model, please complete the short Module 1 quiz to show us that some of this info actually sunk in.
Hi, my name is Iliana Ponce, and I am the Program Coordinator here at Lighthouse Immigrant Advocates. During several strategic planning sessions in the summer of 2021, LIA staff and board joined together to determine what we value as an organization. LIA staff and board is made up of a diverse group of humans, many of whom are immigrants themselves. It was important to us to develop clear values that we would continue to drive our work into the future. It'll come as no surprise that the first value we landed on is a client-centered approach to our work. When clients walk through our doors, we want them to feel like the most important person in the room, respected, dignified, and heard. We can't control what happens outside our doors, especially at a time rife with false rhetoric and fear-mongering surrounding the immigrant community. But here at LIA, we've created a safe and welcoming space where everything we do focuses on the client, not donors, not politics, not fundraising, clients. This brings me to our next value, compassionate approach to all work. Our client-centered work is above all else compassionate. Compassion looks different in different situations. At times, it can be providing a safe space to cry and share a story that hasn't been spoken out loud in over 20 years. Sometimes it's celebrating small victories or listening and reflecting carefully. And other times, it's just being a kind and smiling voice on the other end of the phone. We take a very holistic approach to our work, recognizing that a person isn't just an immigrant. People are multidimensional beings, often having multiple needs beyond just immigration status. Our victim advocacy program cases, for example, often need much more than just immigration legal services. They need therapy, housing, food assistance, healthcare, and so much more. In order to make sure we're able to respond appropriately to these needs, we seek partnerships and collaborative relationships with area nonprofits and service providers. This allows us to more easily refer additional services that people might need. It serves as a double purpose of making sure other service agencies know about us and can refer back to us for immigration needs. We wouldn't be a law office if we didn't value justice. We are a justice-minded organization, seeking above all else equity and justice. Justice looks different in different spaces. In the workplace, justice looks like hiring practices which seek equity and restoration. With clients, justice is not only about using legal tools available to keep their families together, but it also advocates for addition of new tools to tear down and rebuild a system wrongfully built on white supremacy. Within our community, justice looks like advocacy for and education about injustices and what true justice-minded policies and advocacy could look like. Finally, we seek to be culturally competent. You'll soon discover LIA's workplace is a fun and friendly place to work, where we work in concert toward a shared passion for LIA's mission. But we're a diverse group serving a diverse population, and this requires a lot of effort to maintain and work towards cultural competency. For this reason, we are committed to fostering an environment where all people feel welcome and included in our office, at community events, and at other spaces of influences. We do not discriminate based on ability, age, education, ethnicity, gender, place of origin, race, religion, or sexual orientation. It's important to note that these are not values we apply to just client work. We believe our values need to be practiced in the workplace. Therefore, these values define the way we interact with our staff, interns, and volunteers. We expect everyone to adhere to these values in both their work with clients and relationships with those working at LIA.
Confidentiality is super important in a law office. An attorney's duty of confidentiality prevents her from even informally discussing information related to her client's case with others. Attorneys have to keep almost all information private, particularly information related to representation of their clients, even if that information didn't come from the client. Our volunteers are held to the same standard even though you're not necessarily attorneys. You know that confidentiality agreement you're going to sign? We take that very seriously. That is your covenant with our office and our clients, promising to keep everything you learn here top secret. So no running home to tell your mom you learned that Juanita, that super popular girl in high school who came in runner-up for homecoming queen, is undocumented and is now trying to get legal status. Talking, texting, or sending pictures or videos related to confidential materials is strictly prohibited. If we learn that you have violated this policy, you will be terminated.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Seriously, violations of this policy are taken very seriously. I'm seriously serious. Before you'll be granted access to confidential materials, all staff and volunteers are required to thoroughly review and sign our confidentiality agreement. A signed copy of this agreement will be kept in your file at LIA's office. This concludes our review of confidentiality at LIA. Go check out the Module 3 quiz and review your confidentiality agreement.
Volunteers aren't usually paid. Sometimes we get super lucky and we'll get a donation that allows us to offer paid internships. Otherwise, you work for gratis. Nonetheless, we expect a lot from you. As we reviewed in our Value and Culture module, we expect you to adhere to our values of client-centered, compassionate, holistic, and just-minded and culturally competent service. Volunteers are expected to maintain extreme confidentiality. If not, again, we expect you to refrain from discussing LIA business in cases outside of LIA or with anyone other than your supervisors or LIA staff. Treat all clients and attorneys with respect and dignity. Our mission is all about helping our clients thrive in West Michigan. That mission starts within these walls and extends to everyone here. If you have a disagreement or conflict with a client or other LIA staff members, bring it up to a supervisor so that we can address it in a respectful manner. If you have a conflict with a client in particular, talk to a supervisor, either the executive director or managing attorney, to help resolve this matter. Be prepared and on time for all your volunteer shifts. If for some reason you're not able to make your shift, this is Michigan after all, and snow days are a thing, contact your supervisor as soon as possible. As part of your orientation, you should be giving your supervisor's cell phone number and email address. We suggest sending a text message and email address in order to guarantee communication. Start each shift by checking in with your supervisor or check your Google Keep list. While we welcome all questions and love our collaborative work environment, we ask our volunteers to do their research first before asking supervisors a question. This is especially true of our interns. Google first and then ask. But do ask questions and communicate openly about any concerns. Again, we're a pretty friendly and welcoming staff. As far as I know, no one bites. Back to confidentiality. Never take any confidential materials or information off a workplace premises. Even if you're on a deadline and you are not going to be able to finish your work before your shift concludes, you can't take your work home. Just let your supervisor know you weren't able to finish your task assigned, and we'll make the necessary arrangements related to your project. We expect you to complete all these modules and be present in the office for any in-person training relevant to your particular volunteer position. Finally, follow all policies and guidelines outlined in the volunteer handbook. Sign the page at the back of your handbook and return this to your supervisor to be added to your file at LIA's office. Like I said, we expect a lot from you. Keep in mind, LIA is an organization engaged in some high-stakes work. If we don't get it right, families could be separated and/or placed in costly removal proceedings, or they might experience delays in renewing or receiving status, which could impact their ability to obtain or keep employment and subsequently impact stability at home. We need to make sure we get it right, so we hold our volunteers to the same high standards we hold our staff. Pop on over to the Module 4 quiz and show us you understand our volunteer expectations.
Did you know it's illegal to give legal advice if you're not an attorney? There are a lot of folks who think filling out and submitting an immigration form is pretty low risk. Often, we find tax preparers engaging in this type of fee-for-service work, thinking it's very similar to filling out a tax form. As you'll learn at LIA, most immigration forms are not low risk and can carry serious consequences, even family separation. That's why LIA advocates for authorized practice of immigration law by qualified attorneys and DOJ accredited representatives. So what is legal advice and how do you avoid giving it? The official definition of legal advice is any written or oral counsel regarding a legal matter that impacts the responsibilities and rights of the person who receives it. What's this mean in real life? Let's say someone asks you how to answer a question on an immigration form. For example, I used to work using my younger sister's U.S. birth certificate. Do I need to answer yes to this question about false claims to U.S. citizenship? And you give them an answer, and they mark down that answer on the immigration form. That's legal advice. Any interpretation of answer to or opinion about a question on a legal form is considered legal advice. So what happens if someone asks you for legal advice while you're at LIA or even outside of LIA? Best response: I'm not an attorney or DOJ accredited rep. I'm not able to answer your question. You can, however, give legal information. Legal information is just an accurate yet generalized statement of what the law is without any application to someone's particular situation. For example, in the United States, a refugee is someone who meets the international definition for a refugee. It's a legal status usually granted outside of the United States by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. This is legal information. Telling someone that their particular case does not meet this definition is legal advice. Translating a question verbatim on an immigration form is also legal information. Telling someone how to answer that question, however, is legal advice. The Module 5 quiz is a series of examples of legal advice versus legal information. Complete the quiz to demonstrate your understanding of these concepts.
At the time of the recording of this video, it's fall 2021, and COVID-19 is still a raging problem in the United States despite the existence of several vaccines. As a result, we are still being very careful at our office to protect our staff, clients, and families. For this reason, we ask that you wear a mask at all times in the office and ask our clients to do the same. We provide masks to our volunteers and staff if you do not have one with you. Our office also provides a wide variety of cleaning supplies that you can use to sanitize surfaces after use. Before leaving the office, we ask that you sanitize your workstation with a wipe or Lysol spray, leaving it clean for the next person to use. Finally, we are asking that all who work for LIA, paid or unpaid, receive the COVID-19 vaccine. If you are not vaccinated, please notify your supervisor so that we can properly track and notify you and others of potential exposure risks.